Dr. Keftusa. Come on now. We just heard from Dr. Keftusa. Now, let me know if you're ready for the conclusion of the marvelous, the gravitational pull of our Queen, Lady Maat. She's now dealing with the conclusion that truth fears no lies. Oh my God, brother. You know what? I mean, imagine our keynote speaker, Reverend Shock, has not even come onto the platform yet. And we've had, I don't know what to say to you, brothers and sisters. I don't know what to say. So brothers and sisters, are you ready? Please let me know, brothers and sisters. Let me know. Are you ready for Lady Adele? Let me know. Let me know if you're ready for the conclusion that truth fears no lies. She has actually done a surgical operation on all of our minds all over the world. Lady Adele, how are you doing, my sister?
Very well, thank you, Brother Andrew. Good evening, family. It's good to be back for the third week in a row on this topic about truth and lies and fear. And so just to say, it was lovely hearing from Dr. Keftusa, because he kind of summed up what's been going on, what I've been talking about over the last 3 weeks, and the critical theory approach of breaking down our family, breaking children from parents, breaking husbands from wives, and so on and so forth. So we've been looking at that, and I want to conclude on that today. So the presentation is not going to be so long today because it's the closing parts and looking a bit more at solutions. But one thing I'm looking forward to having a conversation actually with Dr. Keftusa, because one of the things I always say is that if we say that we have lost our way or we've lost something, we're actually saying we've been careless. And I want to remind us, brothers and sisters, that we haven't lost our way. We haven't lost our history. What it is, that would be careless to say we've done that. Those things were taken away from us, or blocks were put in our pathway so we couldn't journey on as God had decided for us to do. So I see young people all the time, our young Black people never say that we have lost unless you have deliberately been careless. Otherwise, we're giving ammunition once again to the system and process that is working against us. And that is a part of the design engineering. And that is a part of the conversation that we have now adopted so subtly. So I just wanted to say all that. And for those of you who have missed the last 2 weeks, I'm hoping that you'll get the essence of it as I just sum up today. What we've been doing, we've been getting into the mind of critical theory, because that is what's designed to rule and operate on the systems and what we're supposed to buy in. And we've been looking at it with the sole purpose of going ahead to protect ourselves, because it is about protecting ourselves and about setting ourselves free and creating our own future, a future by us, for us, or a future for us, by us. And where we ended last week, we looked at a video clip from the Truman Show. And it's when Truman comes woke and he realizes that he is caught in some kind of trap that he doesn't know how. He cannot find the answer, but he knows it's there. And one thing they say about young people is that they can pick up this sense that things around them are not correct, but they don't know what it is or how to express themselves. And one of the ways they demonstrate this confusion within their minds, because they cannot see it or put their finger on it, is that they respond in negative or inappropriate ways. But that's another session for another time. So Brother Andrew, if I could share my screen, please. I'm going to pick up where we left off. It's all yours, my queen. It's all yours. Revolution. Right. Let me see if I remember how to do this.
Come on, my queen. Brothers and sisters, you're looking at Lady Maat Adele. She's ready for part 3. Let's lick shot on Babylon. Lick shot.
Thank you very much, Brother Andrew. So yes, here is part 3, the closing part here. Oh, let me see, why is it not So where I just want to start with, I'm going to, everybody who's been on seen me in any one of my other presentations know I always like to play this video clip. It's a little bit long, but it's so relevant to where we are today. And I'm looking today at the spiritual revolution for the Black man and woman.
I'm scared what to tell my kids, y'all. We live in a system that's designed for us to fail, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. When they get older, they're gonna face a system that tells them, there is no you. There is only who I want you to be. From your latest cell phones to the style seen in your most recent videos to my implementation of what you call swag. If you can't brag about how many women you have or the $200 denim on your butt, you are worthless. Your purse is not hot if it is a fall edition and we are in the winter. And as long as your kids have Jordans on their feet, it is okay if they have to eat top ramen for a week for dinner. Your check is in the mail. You fail at becoming grown men, so you don't bother with your younger ones. Give them to me. I'll program them to Viacom. Have them growing up with a single mom and extensive rap sheets and ADD with no off switch, and download a defense that is nothing but false self-confidence shown through them being overly aggressive. Your misguided women want nothing but diamonds and Fendi, or dreams of finding a professional athlete to pay for their lives, because to them being a wife is not a lifestyle, it is trendy. Trendy to have like a little black dog carried around in a bag. The deconstruction of your black woman and man are going according to plan. Flip the coin, and for those who have chose not to go down that road, make sure that any statement they make that may challenge their masculinity are followed by statements of insecurity. We can't have them thinking for themselves. Program dreams to be a mirage. Close enough to see, yet too far to reach. Their aesthetics too pathetic, AKA camouflage. Allow them to blend in, keyword trend. Downtown corners full of rappers who refuse to give up even though their stuff sucks, but will allow them to say their piece. At the very least, it'll make them a quick buck. Any more success initiate operation exploitation. Throw them a bit more cash. I am the system. Programmed to initiate commands. You Negroes, you people are programmed not to ask. Empty vessels who have sold their souls a long time ago, and you call me robotic. I am the system. Systematically set to just do. You are systematically set to just do and not think, and you call me robotic. Error, redundancy, error, repeat, error, redundancy, error, repeat. Pardon me. I was scanning your culture's current popular music. You want a cop to pay for killing one of you, but carry a no snitching policy in your own community, which allows you Negroes, you people to have absolutely no accountability. Irony overload, reset. I am the system, systematically set to desensitize your senses, senseless activity surrounds your society, simultaneously making you love me while shaking in your boots. And for those who dare to overthrow me, allow me to remind thee, 'tis I who provides you with the land and seeds you use to grow your little grassroots. I am the system.
So, brothers and sisters, I think just in that one poem alone sums up everything that we were looking at over the last 2 weeks. I could have just played that and that would have summed up everything we had said, because yes, the system is there all around us and we buy into that. And this last 2 weeks has all been about exposing the system that's around us and looking at how we can get beyond and through it. So we were looking last week, we ended up looking at the Truman Show, and we saw that scene where he realizes he's free. He saw that the cycle was going round and round and round. But what is quite interesting, those of you who've seen the film and those of you who haven't, it's a one you must watch, is that in that film, a great fear is put upon Truman. And this fear has been put upon him that he is the cause of his father's death. And so he's blamed for this death. And as a result of this fear, it traps him on this island so that he won't take a boat and come off the island. So once this fear had been created for him, he then has adopted the fear. He lives the fear. He focuses his mind on the fear. And as you know, the mind cannot tell the difference between good and bad. It just works with what it gets. And it brings this greatest fear upon him that he gets trapped. And it's the same for us. Just as we have been blamed that we are not an intelligent people, that we are not a smart people, that our history says that we are nothing more than cannibalistic or ignorant, we ourselves are in living the fear that we cannot be successful in education, we cannot have the economics and to manage ourselves, and we cannot do anything about our health. So that is the same kind of ideology that we are living with. But what Truman does, though, he realizes at some point that something is wrong. He gets woke and he says, stop. But we have seen this in another very important, this very same stance. And it is here in the Matrix where Neo stops the bullet. All the negativity that's coming onto him, all that fear that comes to him is really unsettling. And we must remember that we are the one. So we too must be able to put our hands up and our hands out and say stop to what is going on around us in exactly the same way. So we call on our ancestors and our gods to protect us through our prayers, through our affirmations. And we often do this when we wake up in the morning or when we leave the house and we know that we're going to enter this alien world and that we've got to walk through it in our work, in our schools. But when we come home, we fail to wash our hands of it. We wash our hands, we take off our shoes, we take our clothes. But what we do not do is wash our minds of all the negativity and all the trauma and all the propaganda that has been put upon us. And what happens, it lingers as an invisible cloud in our mind and within our homes. Our children bring that in from school and we bring that in from our home. And we bring that in from our work. And it is within our home, and whether that's our mental home in our minds or our physical homes where we live, that we need to find that safety from that false reality within which we live and to seek out truth. It's our Nebuchadnezzar, it's our Zion. And it is in this place that we must examine the perceptions that shape our lives and that shape our experiences. And a lot of that is shaped by institutional racism, and it's our experiences of trauma. But we need to know that although our personal choices to do right and to be right, we may feel is not having any significant impact on everyone around us or in any immediate way, just the little things that we do, just that moment of reflection, just that moment in changing our decisions. And we looked at the brain last week and how if we start shifting and making nudges in the way we think and the friends we have and the books we read and the entertainment we have, we can change how our brain responds to circumstances that comes our way. And it's these things that can really radically, transform the way that we are and the relationships that we have. But it's a critical theorist plan that we are continuously bombarded, and so that when we go home, that bombardment remains there. But it is in our home that we need to learn how to breathe, how to take back our past, how to take ownership of our present, and how to direct our future and prepare from the world outside our home. So this is what our responsibility is when we come home, to clear ourselves of the day that has been. Now, does anybody here in the audience know what this is? I don't know if anybody can put in the chat, what is this a picture of, or what does it represent? Now, I don't have the technology skills, brothers and sisters, to read and present at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead. And this little box here on this door is called a mezuzah. And you find this decorative box on the door frame of all Jewish homes. And it's a tradition taken from the Torah representing the blood on the doorpost. So when the angel of death was coming over in the last plague and was going to wipe out the firstborn, all who had the blood of the lamb on their doorpost were passed over. And this mezuzah, this box and its content represents that today. And before a Jewish person enters their home, they will glance at this box, or they will touch this box, and even go as far as to kiss their hand. And it's always on the top right hand side, and it's always angled facing in. And it is a reminder to the Jewish person as they enter their home of their heritage. It's a reminder of their identity. It's a reminder of their values and, importantly, their connection to God. It serves to protect and unite all Jews together. It's an external marker to the world that I, in this Jewish household, proudly live here. Now, inside the mezuzah is a very, very small parchment scroll with the mezuzah prayer on one side. And that prayer always starts with, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." And on the reverse of this prayer is one of the names of God. Now, what is interesting is that the words on both sides, both the opening prayer and the name of God that is written, it has to be handwritten by a well-trained scribe who's trained in writing this, trained in the laws of this writing. Each letter must be properly formed, and a crack in the parchment or an omission in any way invalidates the power of that prayer. This is how serious the mezuzah is taken. And brothers and sisters, I ask us, where is our mezuzah that represents the sanctity of our home as well as the sanctity of our community? Now, every week, Brother Andrew starts the show here with a collective prayer, the collective prayer that Reverend Shock has given us, which I see as the prayer that should be on our community mezuzah. And we know it all now by memory. I am one with the first frequency. I am one with the first thought idea. I am one with the firstborn people. I am one with the only one, Ashe, and so it is. And you will notice, brothers and sisters, I've put the one and the first with a capital letter as a noun, because we are the one with the first. So it's not just words that we say. They are words that are powerful and have meaning. And we need to, as a people, look at what is our mezuzah for us in our homes and in our community that protects us, yet unites us at the same time. Now, Thomas Jefferson, he has a mixed history, as we know. Some of us forgive him because he freed his slaves eventually. Some of us don't forgive him because he had slaves in the first place. But he wrote this famous quote: "The man who fears no truth has nothing to fear from lies." But this statement could have two meanings. Which meaning did Thomas Jefferson mean? So the first meaning it has is that a man who is not afraid to stand up for what is truth doesn't need to be afraid of lies. But it could also mean a man who's not afraid of the truth doesn't need to be afraid of lies, because to them, truth and lies are relative. And we are living in an age where we know that truth is determined by the majority. It's not about whether it's true or not. It's about what the majority believe. So critical theorists' motion is to ensure that the majority, whatever the majority believes, that becomes the truth. Hence, lies do become truth. And we need to be very watchful and very mindful of that. So just in closing, our weeks at looking at Dante's Circle of Hell and looking at Plato's Cave, looking at Sistine Chapel, all of those things, looking at where the family is today, looking at the nanny state. I'm going to sum up where I started. I started with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to end with him. He says, your whole mindset has to change, not part of it. The whole mindset has to change if you want to conquer in a world like this. You have to have the mind of a conqueror. And changing our mindset is about making ourselves smart, being mindful of our friends, of the technology and how we use it, of the reading materials that we have, of our own entertainment. And sometimes we want to go for second best, and sometimes we just want to have a break and chill out. But if we're doing that deliberately, then we are still able to protect ourselves, because we're not just going in there blind. We're going there knowing, you know what, I am having that drink today, or you know what, I am going to go out with the office friends today, or you know what, I am going to read that novel or watch that film. But I know I'm making a conscious decision to do so, because when we do it mindlessly, that's when all the subliminal messages seep in. And we've talked about the brain on that. So I want us to be looking ahead as we go into 22, and with the clarity and decisiveness that critical theorists do, so that nothing is taken by surprise. We're not surprised by anything, and so we are not responding without thinking and without planning. We're not being reactionary. You see, I've been thinking about this a lot, and where truth fears no lie, it is often us who fear the truth and how we are going to stand up and stand by it. So, brothers and sisters, there concludes the series on truth fearing no lie. I have learned a lot myself as I've gone through this, and I've shared a lot of this with the young people I meet. And so, Brother Andrew, there is the end of truth fearing no lie. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I just want to let the family know that, and sorry, Brother Andrew, to have to say this, but I will be taking a break now for a few weeks. But brothers and sisters, I just want to let you know that during that time, I'm working on a presentation on critical theory and the education system. Woo! Why we are designed to fail, why we are designed to have mental health issues, or I should say our young people, why we are designed to be in a state of poor health, and why it is designed that we have no economic position in society. So that is where that's come from, and the engineering behind that. I'm also working on extending and the presentation on the power of trees, because what I want to include within that now is what our woodland creatures are telling us about who we should be. Sometimes we look at animals and plants, as we notice, as just being there, but what is the messages that they have for us? So although I'm going to take a break for the next few weeks, in the background, Brother Andrew, those are the projects that I'm currently working on to come back and share with the family in a short while.
Wow, wow, wow. Rock stone. Brothers and sisters, Lady Adele. Come on, man. Come on, man. Lady Adele. Sister Samira. Sister Samira. Okay, one thing I saw. I'm going to ask Sister Samira any comments that she'd like to read out. Sister Adele, one question I saw, and I know time's limited because we know we've got Dr. Reverend Shot coming on in a second, is what books do you recommend on this subject matter?
Well, so I would say if you want to find out about critical theory, the best book, one of the best books is the Tavistock Institute. And another one, have I got it here? I can't remember. I think it's Silent Weapons, Secret Wars, or Secret Weapons, Silent Wars. What I'll do, once I've shut down, I'll go and I'll type it into the chat.
Thank you, sister. Sister Samira, what comments very quickly did you see?
That was the main question, but also the fact that, I mean, there's just so many ones going through, it's insane. But I know that you're not going to be with us for a couple of weeks, but Sonia Brown, Sister Sonia, said it's like old times having Lady Adele on weekly, and many have seconded that as well. So it's just been a pleasure and an honor for part 3.
Wow, wow. I mean, it's just been so much. Lady Adele, if you can get any time, please read some of the comments. The brothers and sisters are just absolutely trying to show their love to you, man, because you just opening eyes and soothing the heart, sister. Is absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing.